I'm Drake. Welcome to Working Dragon Mystic, where we discuss real metaphysical and occult knowledge so that you can manifest real and tangible results in your life. Real quick, before we get to the video, I'd like to remind you to check out our online community as well as our online School of Magic at workingdragonmystic.com. Just head on over there and check them out. I'm sure you'll find a lot of great resources there for your path. Also, there will be links below. Hope to see you there. Now, let's get on with the video.
How do you create a servitor? Okay, that's actually a great question, Gigi. And you're right. That's something we should cover. I do have a video on it. So I'm just going to touch on the basics here, but check out our intro to servitors. What the servitor is, it's a focused energy that is put into something with a mild sentience that is supposed to focus on a task, right? Prosperity servitors are very, very helpful. And the method I use, the method I have had the most success with over the years, okay? And that's the method I recommend because I've tested a lot and I've had varying degrees. This method seems to get the best results, and I've fallen in love with this method. First off, you want to, what I do is at my page here, I will write at the top, purpose of servitor. So let's say you want to do prosperity, you could do that. Actually, something I'm actually looking at doing, I'm actually doing this tomorrow. I'm going over here to the base and I'm going to start getting some information on their personal trainers because I recently found out I do have some actual injuries that training myself without a little advice might not be the best thing. This shoulder is all jacked up. There's actually, I need to see a doctor. There's a possibility I have effed up my rotator cuff. And this foot, I think some of you all may remember a year, two, maybe three now, that this foot got ran over by a dually, and it's given me problems since. So I'm wanting to get into doing a bit more at the gym just to get me out of the house for one, but I also want to talk to a personal trainer about doing it safely, knowing what physical limitations living the way I've lived has caused because I've done some stupid stuff in my life. So I'm actually looking at creating a servitor for my physical training. Okay. So that is something you can do. So that would be what I write here. The next thing I do is I want to give the servitor a name. I genuinely want to give it a name. Now I got a friend. Me and him, we joke all the time. We really do. Because you all know I got Bob the Skull. Okay, well, Bob the Skull, like I've had Bob the Skull since 1990, I think. It was a stupid ass Halloween decoration that I scared my sister with. And for whatever reason, I just kept it in my bedroom for the longest time because it was a good memory between me and her, right? And it actually got the name because my friend Hub just started calling it Bob. So yeah, I've always had Bob the Skull. So the fact that he became a mascot of this channel is hilarious, even though I think some of you associate him with a certain literary character that, yeah, I would rather not be associated with. But that's okay. That's okay. Anywho, moving on. So the point of that is I actually have a friend. They honestly have servitors. Every servitor is named Bob with a number. They're like Bob 1, Bob 2, Bob 3. Like, if you really want to be like cheesy and uncreative, you could do it. You really can do it. And he has great success with his servitors, by the way. So I'm not knocking it in any way. At the same time, I know in here in chat right now, Bornoldus popped up. Bornoldus is a creative junkie. Okay? He really is. He's a junkie. He has to get his creative fix. Like, it's like crack on the man. It really is. And there's nothing wrong with that either. I may pick on him sometimes, but that's me being a friend. It's because I love him. Right, Bornoldus? You know I love you. That's why I pick on you. He comes up with some amazing names. Absolutely amazing. And Immortal is another creative person. I don't know if he does it with names and stuff, but like I've seen his creative work. It's pretty cool. So if you're a creative person and you want to come up with fancy names, you could do that, right? Nothing wrong with that. I would avoid using names that you associate with deities. Like I wouldn't use Thor, right? Because sometimes entities can get a little bitchy that you created a servitor instead of just going to them. So I avoid that, but just come up with any kind of name. I'll admit I'm not good with names. I come up with simple names like George, Greg, Bob. I have used Bob before. Or I'll look to video game characters and still a name there. um, but I never use the same name twice. Like if I have a servitor with a name, I do not personally use that name again until I completely dismantle the servitor that's attached to it. Okay. So once you have a name, give a description of the servitor. What do they look like? What's their appearance? Picture them in your head. And I want you to actually be focusing on them and picturing them in your head while you're doing this. What do they look like? What does Bob look like? And describe them only in a short paragraph. It only needs to be like 3 or 4 lines. You don't need to overdo it. Okay. Just 3 or 4 lines. And then write in there specifically what it is you want this servitor to help you with. In my case, I'm looking to build strength. I'm wanting to work on certain parts of my body that are weakened because of injuries, and I'm wanting to build myself back up. Ideally, my target is to get back into fight condition, down to my fight weight. And I know that that may not be possible with some of my injuries, but that is my ideal goal. I want to work toward that. And that's what I'm going to set the servitor to. Okay. Now, once you have the description of what it's going to do, what it's going to be focused on, at that point, that's when you will sit down, you will do a ritual. And I always take the name of the servitor and I will create a sigil, which I will put at the bottom of its page down here. And I will create a sigil using that name. Whether I always use runes. Okay. Some people use the rose circle from ceremonial matches or the witch's circle you've seen in some Wiccan covens. Some people will use all kinds of different methods. That's fine. I don't care how you create the sigil. That's not important. You just need that sigil, right? Once that unique sigil is made, you utilize that. You will do your ritual to raise as much energy as you can in whatever way you normally raise energy. If you're a beginner, I highly recommend checking out the Dragon's Flame ritual, even for a beginner who doesn't practice dragon magic. That is a great ritual to raise energy, to focus into something. And you focus the whole time on the name, the appearance, and the purpose of that entity. And I will do this ritual every day for a week. Some people do it every day for a month before they actually bring the thing to full manifestation. And some people refer to this as birthing the servitor even, because it's at that final ritual, because you're actually, every ritual, you're visualizing it coming together, condensing, becoming more and more real with every ritual. It's on the final ritual, at the end of that ritual, that you actually would visualize it coming out of the egg, the orb, the test tube, whatever it is that you're seeing it take its shape in. That's when you're going to see it coming out. Now, it's still tied to the page in the book. It's still tied to the sigil. It will always be tied to those things. And when you create it, this, I should have said this sooner, but while you're creating it, somewhere at the bottom of it, before the sigil, put self-destruct word. Find a word. You can use something like blather and blatherskites. Anyone who watched DuckTales, you know what that is. Some nonsensical word or something that you're not going to use in a general conversation. And put that there. At any point in time, if you think of that servitor and use that word, it's going to unravel. Period. End of story. You cannot lose control of it because of that. If you do, you just use the word, say for it's gone. And once it's out there, once it's acting, what do they actually do? Might be a good thing to cover. What they actually do is they're actually going to get out there. They're going to manipulate energy and vibrations in ways to help you meet that goal. So, for example, in this one, if I'd done it tonight as opposed to wait, they would probably help me find the best trainer that of the trainers that's going to be at this particular gym. But one of the big things I'm sure it's going to do is help me to remember that I think is going to be its hardest job, is reminding me, like, Drake, you're supposed to work out today. Because I have so much on my table to do and just fill my day And it's stuff I enjoy doing, like research and stuff. That getting into building a healthy habit is very hard to squeeze that time in, even if it's an hour or two. So it's just the remembrance of doing it. And I think that is one thing that it's going to have the hardest time doing, but it's also going to be its most valuable one. But at the same time, when I'm up there, that servitor can make sure I tire less, I'm less exhausted, I can get the most out of my workouts. It can also help to remind me to do movements safely, considering my shoulder and other things, which now think about it, that's something I'm going to include into that servitor, is to make sure I'm doing my workouts safely, because clearly unsafe workouts has kind of got me where I'm at. So yeah, does that help answer the question on how to create them and how they may work? Great question.